Right, I'm just starting a 3-hour drive from London down to the West Country, and I've got time to kill. I don't want to listen to the news, and I don't want to listen to podcasts. Kind of all podcasted out at the moment, if you know what I mean. But there's been something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I've never got around to it because it's always felt like too big a job. And that is to give a full, detailed explanation of the talk process, not prices strategy that agents can use to make themselves much more profitable businesses. I'm sorry the audio is going to be crap. This is better than nothing, right? It's just me blathering from the steering wheel of the car. It doesn't matter where you are, what kind of properties you're selling, what kind of agency you are. There are no exceptions to this principle. What makes agents more money? Selling more homes or higher house prices? If you agree with me and believe that selling more homes makes you more money than selling higher prices does, then it's worthwhile you watching this video. If, on the other hand, you think that talking the market up and talking prices up and overvaluing is a way to make more money, and that's your mindset, don't waste any more of your time watching this video, okay? This video is only worth your time watching if you are open to the fact that selling more properties makes you more money than trying to talk the market up and trying to talk prices up and overvaluing to win business, even if you're overvaluing reluctantly. Because what I am selling you here, but it's free in this video, is a proven, tried and tested approach and strategy to estate agency that I 100% guarantee will make you more money on one condition. And that condition is you have to be a highly competent, high quality estate agency. And what I mean by that is you must be comfortable and happy dealing with all of the processes involved in getting a property to market well, generating large numbers of viewings, negotiating offers in an efficient way, and proceeding to getting an offer tied up, and then managing your pipeline of deals to minimize your fall through rate. I am assuming that if you're watching this, it's because you already know how to do that process well. Okay? If you don't, you need to go and get trained on how to do that well. Okay? So I'm going to put the windows up here. In my old banger. This is the Best Agent banger. My 12-year-old, 145,000 mile, slow as hell Volkswagen Golf. But what's not to love about it, hey? So I'm going to talk you through the steps. They're not easy, these steps, because at the moment, almost every agent in the country, without exception, is having to commit some overvaluing, no matter how reluctantly, in order to have a chance of getting an instruction. And so what I'm going to talk about, and what I've already taught one agent to do, and they're doing it very well, and in 90 days, they've turned their business around. I'm going to talk about exactly how you approach your business and the way you talk to your customers in such a way that you only list saleable stock and therefore don't waste your time on stuff you can't sell, number one. And number two, you get almost everything under offer at a price the sellers are going to be really happy with because you've demonstrated that they have found the whole market for their property in 3 to 4 weeks, right? So selling almost everything you list in 3 to 4 weeks. that. I'm not making this up. This isn't some pipe dream. This is what I'm already delivering with agents who are listening to my advice and guidance. And by the way, you might say, well, hang on, Charlie, you've never been an estate agent. What advice and guidance can you give? Although I have never owned or run an estate agency, I have helped owners of many estate agents around the country run their businesses over the last 25 years. In London, outside London, top of the market, bottom of the market. And arguably, I've got more experience of helping to run an estate agency business than any estate agent. Okay? I was involved, I'm not going to go there, right? If you don't believe me, don't watch the video. But all of this is what I've learned from the best agents I've worked with over the last 25 years. So it's not Charlie's unique philosophy. This is what all the most effective, profitable agents I've ever worked with have done. But actually, it's not any one of them. It's the best bits of all the different agents I've worked with over the years, all put together into one guaranteed winning strategy. It relies on you having the confidence to commit to total transparency and total honesty. That is the selling point. And it's a selling point that none of your competitors can compete with you on or compete against you with unless they are doing exactly the same. And when you are facing that question about people saying, well, why should we use your agency over any others? The answer is very easy. It's because we're the only agent that commits to total transparency and honesty. And we publicly commit to it, and we commit to the whole process from the start right the way through to the end. Now, a lot of agents immediately get the fear when thinking about doing this because of all of the little things that they have to cover up and finesse and not be truthful and transparent about, because that's just the way the industry has gone in the last 25 years. And it takes a little bit of courage, it takes some commitment, and it takes being comfortable with some very uncomfortable conversations with existing clients to begin with. And roughly speaking, those conversations go like this. For a long time, we have been approaching our business in the way that the whole industry does, which is reluctantly having to give over-optimistic valuations to our clients in order to win business, because otherwise, when you're honest with clients, you don't win business. We're changing that now because we have a transparent approach that delivers undeniably outstanding results. For example, in the case I'm working with now, 90% of what we list is going under offer within 28 days at or above launch price. Now, this video could go on for hours, by the way, but because you know you're not going to turn your business around into a highly profitable, much easier to run business with a 20-minute video. You're going to have to commit some time to this. The thing you have to put in your head and stick to and commit to is no valuations. No valuations. You can no longer give a valuation. You must no longer give a valuation. If you are still giving valuations, this will not work. It cannot work, because it means that you are participating in a game that all the other agents are doing as well, which means you end up on a race to the bottom on fees, a race to the top on valuations, and an unmanageable nightmare of a business to run with lots of unsold stock and deals taking forever. But Charlie, how on earth can we win an instruction without giving a valuation? Memorize the following line. Ready for when you're in, and let's stop calling them valuations, right? From now on we call them pitches. It's a pitch. When you are in a pitch, you are pitching for business. Be honest about that. I mean, even calling it a valuation is a lie, isn't it? You're lying to yourself and you're lying to your clients because you're not doing a valuation, you're pitching for their business. When the seller or sellers ask the question, so how much is our home worth, or how much do you can get for it, your answer cannot contain a number. Your answer is this: we don't give valuations, because that is why there are so many unsold properties on the market, and that's why selling a home takes so long. We don't give valuations, and anybody who does is making it up. Any agent giving you a quotes valuation is first of all making up the number, and if you want to question that, well, just ask yourself, how come they're all so different, right? They are making it up. It's a guess. Even when you pay for a valuation, and by the way, of course, it isn't a valuation if you haven't paid for it, is it? Right? It's only actually a valuation if you've paid a qualified surveyor or qualified valuer to give you a red book valuation, okay? Otherwise, it's never a valuation. It's a lie. It's a guess. It's made up. It's a lie. So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we do not do valuations, and we do not give valuation figures because we'd be making it up. Because the truthful answer is, we don't know exactly how much your home will sell for. Because the market decides. Only the market decides. What we do is we follow an extremely thorough process that virtually guarantees you will discover what the market price for your home is in a very, very short space of time. I'm sorry, hay fever. There's lots of dusty stuff. Now, at this point, some sellers will think, how fast can we get this joker out the door? What do you mean you don't do valuations? What do you mean the market decides? I thought I decide how much I want for my property. And the whole point of this process, number one, and one of the biggest benefits of it straight away, is it means that you stop listing stuff that you're never going to sell, or that you have a very, very low chance of selling. You will stop taking on clients who are going to waste your time and waste your money and make you look bad by having stock on the market that you haven't sold. Okay? So very quickly, if you can see that this seller is not having any of it, I just want a valuation. I want to be told a number that I'm going to get so I can get on my life. You got to stick to your guns and go, well, it would be a guess. And all the people giving you numbers are exaggerating it. Oh God. I think this cough is going to stop this video. I will persevere as best I can. Now, the kind of sellers that you do want the kind of sellers that you do want are going to be curious about this, because no other agent will be saying this to them. I think I've cured my cough. So let's go back. So yeah, where was I? The sellers who are curious about this approach and are going, hang on a second, this agent hasn't tried to lie to us. They're telling us something completely different than no other agents tell us, and they're telling us they're going to be transparent and honest. Roughly speaking, the approach you describe is that the most important thing is bringing your house to the market first time correctly. to generate the maximum amount of interest immediately and the competing buyer's scenario. And then you would quote your current stats. Now, for example, the first agent I've worked with to do this, to apply this approach, in the first 90 days, has got everything they've listed under using this technique under offer. Offer agreed. Seller has accepted the offer in an average of 19 days. Right? Average of 19 days from launch, they've gone under offer. And that's everything they've listed. They've had an average of 3.5 offers per property. And on top of that, because they've had so many buyers registering for these sensibly priced properties, they're winning instructions off the back of it. They're building chains. So when the seller says to you, but we really want to know what we're going to get, so well, that's part of the process. And of course, at some point, we've got to determine exactly what the correct launch price is. That sweet spot launch price that's just right for this home. And that's part of the process. Well, what's that going to be, asked the seller. We don't know yet. We don't know until we begin the process. And the process is actually quite involved and time consuming. And one of the parts of that process, by the way, when you've got a properly managed applicant database, when you are managing applicants well, and by the way, if you don't, this process doesn't work for you if you don't do proper applicant management. And that's why I say this process only works for really good agents. Okay? If you aren't managing applicants properly, you're not a really good agent. Oh, but Charlie, we aren't making enough money, the fees aren't high enough to justify the cost of that. Okay, but this process solves that problem because this process gets you higher fees. The first agent I've done this with, in 90 days, their average fee has gone from 1.1% to 1.4%, and we are aiming for a target of 2%. And they are now getting some instructions at 2% fees because they've already got, in just 90 days, such compelling results. And when you've got cold hard evidence of your own results, never mind what the rest of the market's doing, it's easier and easier and easier to sign up the kind of sellers you want to your process. You don't need to lock them into a long sole agency contract. It's just a win-win-win-win-win. This thing is like a snowball. Once you get started, it just starts to build and build and build. And so what you're looking to do is to get the go-ahead from these clients without a valuation figure. Because you're showing to them, just look at the results we've got for everyone else. We are not going to give you a valuation because we don't know what it's going to be. Why? Because sometimes homes end up getting more than you really think they're going to get. Sometimes it's actually less than you think they're going to get. And we don't want to make a false promise. And we don't want to set your expectations high or low. What we want to do is to say to you, we commit to getting you lots and lots of viewings from properly qualified buyers straight out of the gates in the first 2 or 3 weeks. And when you explain that process to them, it's an easy process for them to believe and buy into because you're showing them the results. It actually makes it easier to win the instructions that you want. It doesn't make it easier to win the instructions that you don't want, but you don't want them anyway. What sort of nihilistic masochist of an agent wants to list a property with an unrealistic seller in the hope that 6 months from now they'll finally give in and lower the price far enough? What sort of punching yourself in the face approach to a estate agency is that? And I get that there hasn't been another way for a lot of agents until now. But I'm now giving you a way to get out of that. Absolutely. And the other thing is, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful moment for you when you're sitting with a seller and that seller has got their head firmly wedged up the arse of Rightmove asking prices and will not extract their head from the arsehole of Rightmove asking prices. It's a very nice feeling to go, I don't think we're the right agent for you. We wish you all the best. And to know that they're going to go and waste some other agent's time and money. It's a really gratifying feeling. Knowing that some other agent's going to sign them up and have to put up with that unsellable vendor and property for 6 months. Good luck to them. They kind of deserve each other, don't they? Because what this is, if you think about it, it's a very effective qualifying process of the sellers. Is this seller actually going to move? And is this seller going to help me earn a fee? Or is this seller going to cost me time, cost me money, and make me look bad? And I promise you, once you experience it, it's addictive. You will never go back. And the other beautiful aspect of this approach is that it really doesn't work unless you are a genuinely competent, good agent. And so all of those rubbish agents you're up against who just rely on a high valuation, a 6-month-old agency and listing on Rightmove, they cannot compete with this approach because they're shit agents. And all good agents know that most agents are shit. And if you're a shit agent watching this, nothing personal, right? If you just aren't very good and you don't know how to qualify applicants properly, and you don't know how to bring a property to the market properly, you don't know how to get the photographs right, you don't know how to do the floor plans and the description right, you don't know how to get competing bidders, then this is good news for you because you know what you need to go and learn. If you are a joker, piss taker agent who thinks that all you've got to do is lob it on Rightmove, wait for the price drop and collect your fee, honestly, the UK housing market is better off without you. So either decide to up your game and become a professional agent, or pick another way to make a living. Honestly, you'd be doing yourself and everyone a favour. Now, there's one really important exception to this no valuations rule. In this scenario where one of the buyers that's viewing and bidding on one of your instructions that you've brought to market like this, and is a really good buyer, and they're making a very strong bid, but they've got something to sell they haven't sold yet, and they're like, well, hey, can you sell my property that fast? Because if you can sell my property within 3 weeks, then I am the best buyer for this current listing. But I need to know that you think I'm going to be able to get enough to substantiate my offer. Okay, in that scenario where you're trying to win another instruction from a buyer who's bidding on a current instruction, you may have to discuss potential values. But what you do is you don't call it a valuation. You simply sit down and have an honest appraisal of the comparables that are going to support the offer that they're making, right? Does the offer that they want to make on the current listing property you're selling stack up when you look at what you think their property is going to sell for? Okay, so if you want to discuss possible values, the approach to do in that scenario is to say to them, well, look, let's be really conservative to make sure that your offer is credible, because if your offer is based on an unrealistic expectation of your sale price, we're not going to be able to recommend that offer to our client. So we've got to talk about realistic prices. And if they say, yeah, we're up with that, we're fine with that, then okay. And then you can talk to them in all honesty and truthfulness and say, let's base it on this assumption, right? And this is a conservative assumption, and maybe you'll do better. And if they're okay with that, then you've just won another instruction of a property that you can sell. Right, I'm about to get on the motorway, so I've got to put the roof up anyway and stop all these seeds coming in. I'm breathing in these seeds from these trees. But listen, that's a starter, okay? If you want to find out more, follow the Best Agent YouTube channel, follow Best Agent on Instagram, Best Agent on LinkedIn, follow me on LinkedIn. And I will be continuing to talk about this process, and I'll be doing more and more videos with the agent that I'm working with to actually back this up with proof and evidence. If you have actually endured this video to this point, thank you for persevering. I hope it's worthwhile, I hope it's useful, and I look forward to hopefully talking to you. If you haven't already done so, make sure you've got your Best Agent back office account open. They are free. And your Best Agent back office account means that you will get early access to vendor leads from Best Agent. And the thing about vendor leads from Best Agent is because they're mostly people who watch my Moving Home with Charlie channel, they tend to be more realistic sellers. So they're better quality leads. Sometimes they include a video message with their lead, and they're generally speaking, on balance, much better quality clients than your average Rightmove seller with their head up the Rightmove valuation price arse. Thanks guys, see you on the next one, bye bye.